What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into a new episode of the J Rock Show here. I'm your host, Jason J.K. Candell. I'm so buzzed after my new promotion to The Athletic, but that's not what we're here to talk about right now. These guest interviews are beloved by you all. We have one more on tap, and we have a SimWorld U player joining us today. A little less recruiting speculation. We got South Carolina forward Isaiah James joining the show today. Welcome to the show, Isaiah. Thank you for joining me today. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I want to congratulate you on the promotion with the athletic, dude.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Shout out my good friend Marsh, who's now at ESPN, paving the way for this promotion. But we're not here to talk about my career. We're here to talk about SimWorld U basketball. We're here to talk about your career. Let's start on Tuesday night, where Villanova pulled off another upset of number 11 North Carolina. Villanova's fourth straight victory, 17 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks from Harron Lovejoy. Rough shooting night, 2 for 16 for Bam Wallace. This Villanova team's really hitting their stride at the right time this season. 71-61 victory. Does this team deserve to be ranked?
Of course. If we're going off of just stats in general, that man is tough. He gets to his own. He gets to the cup. But overall, Villanova is a tough team. You know, I can't wait to face them again and put on a show because these guys are on a run. North Carolina is a tough team to beat. They got one of my teammates from Beast of the East over there, and if you beat a powerhouse like North Carolina, you belong to be up there. You know, they've had great games these last couple of weeks where you think like, oh man, North Carolina's about to do something crazy, but Villanova stopped all of that and said, no, 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 this defense, which I love, this defense ain't allowing nothing free. And I feel like for sure they should be ranked. Even if it's not top 10, top 15, I want them boys to be ranked.
I think I'm going to agree with that. Great week to be Kyle Neptune. There were some questions about his job coming into the season. And not only do they win 4 in a row, they bring in two big commits in Losi Thomas, another one of your former Beast of the East teammates, and Wade Rose. And they also win their
See?
fourth game in a row. Villanova's firing on all cylinders right now. My colleague at The Athletic, Zach Nichols, did a great article about that. So I hope you all check that out. But on to the next topic of the show. Butler, number 9 Butler, knocks off number 24 Arizona on Tuesday night. 101-100. Travion Timms with the buzzer beater marked Butler's 7th straight win, improving their record to 11-2. Big win, uh, big win for Butler. Just this team is number 9 right now. Don't see a way where they don't ascend even further. Isaiah.
I agree. You know, Trevon Timms, I don't know how he got that shot off. I know I'm a pretty arrogant guy, and I can say that I could get that shot off anytime I want. But I know I'm not making that. And in general, I'm super proud for their team. You know, Butler, they didn't really offer me, but in general, their team is just great. You know, and really, I feel like it's just hunger. Some of these teams that might not have been projected to be top 25 last season in the SWU are making a name for themselves now. And I'm so happy to see the Butlers just come and get to a game like that against Arizona. Corey Yams, he's a bucket, you know? And so for me personally, you beat Corey Yams, you know what I'm saying? You beat Corey Yams, you're on a whole different level. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Corey Ams is one of the best young freshmen in SimWorld U. This Butler team is just firing right now. Thad Matta, former Ohio State head coach, is just doing everything right with this team, and I'm really
Yep.
impressed that not only that they're 11-2, that they've managed to win 7 straight. The Big East was all Villanova, all Marquette, who's been quite the disappointment. Georgetown has kind of caught their stride, but Butler was not a team that was expected to be atop the Big East, and they've really proven a lot of people wrong right now.
Yeah.
But
I'm happy for them.
I'm glad you're kind of tipping your cap. But let's talk more about you and your squad. Big win for your Gamecocks on Tuesday,
Yes.
Isaiah.
And, yes.
72-68 win over St. Mary's. They've been in and out of the rankings all season. 27 for your boy Keandre Baldridge. What an absolute beast.
Bro, when I tell you I'm scared to guard this man in practice during these open runs, I tell you this man could just get whatever he want. And with my new coach and me and him getting adjusted to this whole different play style, he's been trying to get the three ball off more. He's been trying to show that perimeter game, and it's slowly but steadily improving. Sure, he went 25% this game, but he's a big man. This line is pretty low, and I'm happy to see him getting more comfortable with his jump shot over time. But that man, he's a beast. Cannot stop that man in the post.
Oh, absolutely. 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. You're talking about him shooting from deep. You guys kind of struggled from deep all year. Not really a team that is really world beaters from
Yeah,
beyond the arc. Only 4 on the game, 4 of 18. But second
yeah.
straight win for you guys, improving your record to 8-5. What's gone right lately?
I've been pushing the fact as team captain. I've been trying to tell them like, guys, we just gotta work as a unit, because you could look at these games that we lose by 10, by 5, by 3, by 20. You could look at any of those games and there's just a lack of ball movement. Sometimes there's guys that you know we continue to keep shooting for our shot when instead we should try to be getting the next person over you know. In this game that we had against St. Mary, we got everyone trying to swing the rock the best of their ability. Or if you're not swinging the rock, you're playing defense. If you're not playing defense, you're rebounding. You know, I try to push that if you can't score, there's always something else you can do to benefit the team. Because like we said, Keandre Baldrige, he had almost 30. I personally don't need to score that much. How about I get some rebounds? I play some defense, stuff like that. Beside Dance, he did a great job at that. He led the team in rebounds and assists, I believe. So that's a great example of I don't need to score. I could just keep benefiting the team. And every time we have one of those games where everyone's playing the right role, everyone's playing consistent basketball, are those games that we win. And I'm super proud of this team.
I'm glad to hear it. Congrats on the victory. But I have some
Thank you.
questions for you, kind of talk more about you and your career. And I want to start with the question that's really been on my mind for a while, since for as long as I've known you. How did you get the nickname Juice?
Oh man. Yeah, that's a name right there. Okay. So back when this was a long time ago. I think this was my freshman year in SimWorld Hoops and prep school. But what we call it? Man, J. Cole and me, we got into a little altercation this open run, right? And then the homies thought it was a good idea that I start hopping on the track. This is before Kendrick and Drake and all that. All right. But they said, hey man, you should hop on the track and tell them something. So I'm like, man, what do I say? I respect J. Cole. Me and him are dogs. Sure we get into a little altercation went in like a 5v5 scrimmage, but like who care for real? But I got peer pressured and I let the pride get to me, and they told me to get in the booth. And I got in the booth, 15 minutes straight freestyle, man. I was out here dogging. And it came to a point where I was like, man, I should release this, but at the same time, nah, because I still respect J. Cole too much. So these guys like to call me Juice because apparently this dude named Juice World, he had like some super long freestyle or whatever, and they were like, "Oh yeah, man, you went as long as Juice did," and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool and all, but like I want to focus on basketball." You know what I mean? I did not want to have my name out on the news in SimWorld talking about how I dissed J Cole. you know, so they call me Juice and stuff mostly because of that.
Yeah, I have heard of Juice World. Rest in peace. That is quite the
Rip to the
story
goat.
because I do know that you and J. Cole are friends. So glad it was resolved. But I want to talk about like
Yeah.
your recruitment to South Carolina. Was it always South Carolina for you? Were there any other schools that like you seriously considered, or anywhere you hoped would offer you that didn't?
So me personally, I've always been a Wake Forest kid. I grew up watching Tim Duncan. I'm a fundamentalist. You know, and I've seen guys like Tim Duncan, Chris Paul, John Collins all come out of Wake Forest. And one of the first places I wanted to go, I was like, man, I want to go to Wake Forest. You know, I felt like I could connect with their community. You know, and I wanted to bring a legacy to there. But ended up not even offering me, which is totally fine, because I'm here where I'm loved that I have a great role at, and I have a great supporting cast of teammates. Another team that I wanted to go to was probably Davidson. You know, Benari's going there right now. Me and him just faced off the other night, last week or so, and I was like, me and Benari, finally I get to team up with one of my brothers and stuff. So I was kind of happy that they had offered me, but they were saying like, we don't know your starting position yet, we don't know your role, we don't know how many minutes you're getting, and I had a personal feeling that I was like, dang, do they want me because I'm like a Thanius Antetokounmpo to Giannis type of situation here? Is this how you guys are gonna try and persuade my way offensively talented brother to go to go on to your team because of me, you know. And later on down the line, when I started getting more offers, then they want to offer me the starting spot, and I felt kind of offended by it because I'm a prideful guy. I go 110% on everything I do, you know. So when they want to come and offer me when recruiting season's almost over, you want to give me a starting spot, I'm not going to accept that, you know. Um, One more team that I did want to go to just because one of my first offers, they were first interested in me, was UConn. You know, I love Fareed Redmond. That man has taught me so much things in my 2 years in prep. And when he left in my sophomore or senior year, he was like, he told me a lot of things, and he told me he was going to put in a good word with coach. He did, they let me know, but they were saying that, I had to work for my spot, which I could totally understand. I don't want to get anything just because of my name. I want to work for it. I started my career here with that, and I'm gonna end my career with that at any level. And they told me I had to work for it and stuff like that. And that's when I was like, yeah, sure, I could be with UConn, this super big, great program. I love UConn, you know, but I was gonna be like, I want to make a name for myself personally. I want to go to South Carolina, which is against the grain. North Carolina apparently hates South Carolina. South Carolina hates North Carolina. I want to make a name for myself. I want to go against the grain. I'm happy to be with Keandre Baldridge. Me and his team, we did not like each other. We went to the finals toe to toe. I'm going against Trey Turner. You know, and we that team never mixed up. So I was even happier to find out one of Trey's old teammates had made it to the team, and I feel like this was probably the best decision I can make, and I don't regret it at all.
And I'm glad to hear that. I hear great things about Coach Paris. I know him, but not super well. But let's talk about the coach of yours, who I do know very well, Coach Drayton. Very close friend of mine. Does great at getting his players ready for the SimWorld U level. You talked about Fareed.
That's my goal.
How did he prepare you for the increase in talent at the college level?
He showed me a lot of film for one. Coach Drayton, like I said, he's the goat. I love that man. He put me onto a lot of stuff that I didn't know about, and he made me into kind of who I am, the man today. Like I said earlier, I'm a fundamentalist. I go by fundamentals because I know that my offensive bag isn't as talented as some of these other guys are. Like I previously mentioned, Trey Turner, Benari, Barkley. Those are guys that have that offensive bag off the go. I've been a fundamentalist, and me and him just fit with that. He loves watching film more than he loves watching Christmas movies around this time of year right now. So when he finally got to coach me in the middle of my first season here, I was like, this is the guy. Even since I'm gone now, I still personally talk to him in private. Sometimes about my similar experience, or sometimes just to talk because he's that chill of a guy. You know, but for sure, when it comes down to him getting me ready for the SimWorld University level, he prepared me entirely because he showed me like now these guys are getting to this point where they're ahead of you. There is no high school coach trying to give the rock to everyone else, trying to share the ball everyone else. These colleges want to win, and they will give that ball to that one guy and have him win the game for them, which is something that I've seen, not just people I've gone against or games that I've been in, but something you just see all around the SWU. You know what I mean? So he got me ready for that, and he also told me still like, yeah, sure, you could be a defender all you want, but you need to focus on that jumper. I could be a Tony Allen type of guy, but I have to show that my versatility in my game on offense, which is something I've been trying to improve on this season. Yeah.
I now you led right into my next question, bringing up Tony Allen. Like, who were your biggest influences and idols growing up, and who do you model your own game after?
Oh, okay. So when I was growing up, I was kind of undersized. I did get a big growth spurt though, which I'm happy for. But I used to be undersized. So guys, I would used to watch is Zeke. You know, Zeke, Isaiah, man, he's tough. You know, he was a gritty defender. His personality it fit with me, and I'm not even from Detroit. You know, and it was just his tenacity. You know, sure, Michael Jordan's the best player of all time, but I'm gonna try my hardest to lock that brother down. You know, he didn't step away from any challenges, and he got awarded for that. And me personally, it evolved my game as a defender because I was like, this man didn't have to average 36.7 points per game like Michael did, or 37 a game like Michael did for him to win these type of championship, these type of championships. He played team basketball. His coaching was great, and his supporting cast all were hungry. You know, and another guy I tried looking at was like I said earlier, Tony Allen. That man was just a dog. You know, sure he didn't do the best on offense and stuff like that, but he was a dog regardless. You can ask any player from that era in those 2000s, those late or early 2010s, who was the best defender that had you, and I will assure you they will say Tony Allen. That man put his life on the line, like it's his last meal. Like after this game, he finna kick the bucket or something, you know. And it's just something I've appreciated, and it's changed my mentality. You know, it's like I don't have to go 70% or just 100% on my defense and focus on offense. I could go 110 all the way and lock the best college basketball player down. You know, and now I have to focus on the offensive game because clearly that is not that is not the truth. You know, some guys I could lock them down all I want. I could play 110%, but they still gonna drop 20 or something. You know, they're gonna drop 20, 25 or so. And I gotta show I need an offensive game as well. So I've been trying to watch simple guys so far to start. I've been watching guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. I've been watching guys to go as far as say Monte Ellis, DeJounte Murray, Paul George, more recenter fellows that were able to mix this lockdown defense or this great irreversible defense, can't get by you, stuff like that. And that had an offensive game as well, you know. And yeah, that's really it.
Okay. I kind of want to ask you about your pregame routine. Is there anything you always have to eat or listen to or need to do to get yourself psyched up to play? Just kind of walk me through that a little bit.
All right. Well, my pregame routine, it's kind of, it's okay. It's nothing crazy. You know, I do for sure. I got stopped by McDonald's. I need to give me a Big Mac. Big Mac, Coke, and large fry. But this is like 2, 3 hours before the game. This ain't right before. You know, I give me one of those. I feel great. I feel full. You know, sure it's junk food right now, but as soon as I'm done eating that thing, I'm in the gym. I'm stretching. I'm putting up shots. I'm watching film of our team. I've been watching film on these guys since my last game. As soon as that last game is over, I'm watching film on the next opponent. You know, so I'm watching film for like another hour 30, and the last 30 minutes before the game start, I'm hyped. I'm blasting music, but nothing no crazy stuff. I ain't listening to no drill music like these new generation guys be listening to. I'm listening to the classics. I'm listening to New Edition. I'm listening to, SWV. I'm listening to these sweet R&B rappers to get me locked in. You know, I need tranquility around me for me to lock in. I don't need to be all hyped up and stuff. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't need to do all that. I want to be locked in, focused. I want to see these guys come walk into the gym. You know, some of these opponents, they might be all, oh, yeah, this is an easy win for us. Well, no, it isn't because I'm going to make it as hard as it can for you to reach this finish line, even if it takes me to lift the pole that says finish line and push her back 50 yards, you know, and that's really my pregame routine. I try to stay focused. You know, I get my favorite eats in. I do my stretches on time. I rewatch the film, and I'm just sitting back, listening to New Edition, waiting for the new opponents to come roll into our gym.
Yeah, I get that. I kind of think that's an interesting way to go about it because I know everyone has their own routine, but I want to go back. We talked about your nickname. We talked about how you got to South Carolina, but you didn't tell me how'd you get your start in basketball, and just on top of that, just what does this kind of mean to you to suit up at the D1 level?
Uh, well, I used to play football before I played basketball because one of my main things, which hasn't always been intentional, it's not always the fact that my two brothers are some of the most gifted offensive players in SimWorld right now, you know, but I felt like I could do something else, I didn't always feel the need to do what they're doing, because I growing up, I felt like I was obligated to play basketball somehow. Like, oh yeah, your two brothers, they're averaging 25 and 20 a game. Where are you at? And I'm like, well, I'm getting 120 yards off of three catches over there playing football, you know. And sometimes it came to a point where coaches will come up to me, hey, I want you to play football for us. I know you're Benari and Barkley's brother, blah blah this, that, and the third. And I will find it offensive, not because I'm offensive because of their name or our name, but it's the fact that the only way you get to remember me by is by saying, "Oh yeah, that's Benari Barkley's brother." I don't want to be known as that guy. I want to be known as the guy that's like, "Oh yeah, that brother, yeah, Benari Barkley. Those are his people too." But this man right here, 150 yards a catch. 150 yards every game, you know. But it came push to shove, and I was like, man, time to play some basketball, because like I said, I still play 120 playing football, but I was like, man, why not try football? I mean, why not try basketball out, you know? And eventually, it got to me. Beast of the East called me up, and I feel happy, and that's where we are today.
Certainly a journey. I I'm sure it's kind of crazy that your parents have three kids playing Division 1 basketball. Like,
Oh yeah,
um,
it's funny. Every time Thanksgiving or Christmas time, which is coming up, they always talk about it. And they always talk about like, oh yeah, we're so blessed and stuff like that. And I feel like we are too. That's rare. You know, not even. I mean, can you say the Ball brothers all went to D1 college? I don't think so. You know,
I mean,
Lonzo Ball was the only one. You
Jello
know,
played for a little bit.
but
Jello played for a little bit.
yeah, before the whole. Anyway, yeah, that's hard to say, you know. So I'm personally proud that we could all play D1 basketball. We could all play our version of basketball without having to worry about what every other brother's doing. You know what I mean? Because there's some brothers where like, oh yeah, where's Thanius at? Where's the other? Where's Alex? Where's Costo? There's all these other guys that you have to worry about. Not with us. You could be like, oh yeah, that's Bernard James. He's doing that. I assure you, Barkley and Isaiah, they're also doing something too that's great. You know, that's just my take on it, though.
Yeah, and I'm I'm glad all three of you are thriving. I got to have Barkley on the show already. Um, I need to complete the trifecta having Benari on, but that's not for right now. I want to know if you can play for any SimWorld U or SWBA coach of all time. Lamont Paris does not count because obviously, who would that be and why?
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna keep it kind of simple. I'm gonna go Phil Jackson. I'm gonna go Pat Riley. I'm gonna go Doc Rivers. I'm gonna say Phil Jackson because obviously he's a winner. He's transformed teams that you didn't even think were gonna do anything in that time period, especially with MJ in them. But then there's also the other aspect of things like Kobe and Shaq. He went over there to the Lakers and he changed that. And especially the mentoring he did to Kobe. He instills that type of Jordan type of hustle already combined with that Mamba mentality. He transformed those guys into even better contenders. It sucks that his play style or his gameplay had already been found out by the time we got into those 2010s, or not even the 2010s, we get into those late 2000s runs. His play style was figured out already. And but for sure, he's probably one of the best coaches. Pat Riley again. He was probably one of the most influential coaches before Phil. He had the Showtime Lakers. You could talk about him having the Pat Riley tryouts for the Miami Heat. He running NBA All Stars. He pushing them like they're from 24-hour and they're trying out for a rec team. He's pushing them that hard. You got guys being like, man, I don't want to sign with Miami Heat just because of how hard Pat Riley will put you to the test. You know, Pat Riley, I would love to play with him or have him coach me because that man is just like he would instill something in me that's already there. He would be able to see that I go 120% or more than expected than anyone else. I feel like that would be something that he would look at. Doc Rivers, yeah, sure, he gets clowned on for blowing leads and stuff like that. We've all seen them and stuff like that. But overall, he's a smart coach. It's not like he's a bad coach because he wouldn't be taking the team there in the first place. He wouldn't be able to take the Clippers to one of the best seeds that they've had. He wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be able to get Boston to the place they were with KG, Ray, and Paul. You know what I'm saying? He did things in
Yeah.
Orlando, and it was okay. But overall, they wouldn't be in the spots they were if it wasn't for him. You know.
Yeah. I
I
get
would
that.
also, I would also, I would also probably add Greg. You can't forget Mr. Popovich. You know,
Of
um,
course.
that man's probably one of the most smartest coaches I've ever seen. I've watched some of his breakdowns on some of the plays that he's run across all eras, or plays that other teams run, and his adjustments to them. There's videos out there on YouTube where he just breaks them down. And he's an overall funny guy. And like I said, growing up being a Wake Forest fan, I was like, oh, that's Tim Duncan, and then you see Greg Popovich elevate that game and bring the best out of him. You know, I loved how again he was one of those guys that would trust the guys with grit. You know, because some coaches might not want to trust the guy with grit because apparently that's the only thing they got. Oh, this guy's just gritty. You know, maybe he doesn't have an offensive bag, stuff like that. When that's not the case, people thought Manu Ginobili was just a scrappy defender, and so Greg Popovich put him on the map, had him be able to score the European style in an American sport. He was able to change that game to wrap it around Manu Ginobili, or be able to even wrap it around Tony Parker, and still be able to get guys that were fundamentally sound like Tim Duncan, to fit into that.
Yeah.
So for sure him as well.
Yeah.
But those are probably what top four, yeah,
Yeah. Those four SWBAs. I'm sure SimWorld U is it
yeah.
like Coach K, Coach Izzo, the usual suspects.
Oh, Coach K. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, Coach K. I love to have him coach me because everyone else says that. I'm not discrediting Coach K at all. That man, Mr. K, you don't want to disrespect that man. That man, oof, you can't do that. But I'm just saying, I don't want to just sound like the casual guy. Oh yeah, I want to have Coach K coach me. I want to have. I mean, I did say Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
But still, that those are coaches that I want to be surrounded by, in my opinion.
Yeah. I get that. And last question I have for you: Are there any former South Carolina athletes, basketball or not, that you have very close relationships with, and how have they kind of helped you with that transition?
I've said a couple in the past. They've seen me, I've seen them, but it was more of a greeting type of thing. I'm not gonna disclose names because I don't want to make people sound bad. It's not like they didn't bring me in with hospitality or anything, but they did the best that they could. But just because of my game and how unflashy, or how, I guess, fundamental I am, they're not interested to buy into me right now. You know, I just do what needs to be done. I don't do the crazy step backs. I don't do the through the legs tween cross to get them to be like, oh yes, yes, yes. We need Isaiah. I want to mentor Isaiah. I'm not in the media for those type of reasons. I'm in the media because of what I'm doing with you today, JK. I'm putting on a message for SC. I'm not coming on here to talk about how I dropped 57 points against uh, against Villanova or anything. You know, so with that, they have welcomed me. Like I said, they've welcomed me. They've been hospitable. Um, and even the coaches, or even just the kids on campus, they understand what I do and they respect me for it. But the alumni for SC, they haven't been super crazy. They're not always there. I see them at the game sometimes, and I love it when they're there because that's a different level of turn up now. That's like oh yeah, the OGs are here when you're playing blacktop. Let me come show the old generation Etsy's still fine and strong, you know. But yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I know you've mentioned Adrian Wilson in the past. I
Yeah,
hear that
see.
Debo Samuel's around a lot, not having a great season for the 49ers, but this is a SimWorld U show. Like, hey, it's nice to see that the alumni are still showing up for you guys. So I'm really glad to hear that. But that's gonna do it for this show. Thank you, Isaiah, for joining me on this one. It was great to talk to you. It was great to have you on. I'd be more than happy to have you on again if you'd be willing to do that in the future.
Of course. Of course, I'll be on. I'll see you next season. Or hey, if I'm in that draft next season, I'll see you there. you know. But for sure, JK.
Yeah,
I'm super appreciated to be on the show.
yeah.
Um, I wish the best in your future endeavors with that new promotion with the athletic. Again, congratulations, my boy. You
Thank you.
know.
Much
Um,
appreciated.
but still, message to the SimWorld Prep and the SimWorld University players. Man, South Carolina coming for y'all. Sure, we might not win all of them games, but just know we coming hungry, we coming smart, and we coming sound. I want to see more SimWorld University guys on here. I don't want to just see coaches, a couple of SimWorld University players every couple weeks or so. I want to see more of y'all on here. I don't talk to a lot of you SimWorld University guys that much, and I want to hear from you guys. So because some of y'all act like some of y'all haven't beat my team before. I want to hear y'all, and I want to hear what you guys did to prepare for us. Besides that, yeah, I'm done. I'm done, JK.
I appreciate the
Again,
message.
thank you for having me on the podcast, the show. Um, yeah, that's really it. Enjoy the rest of you guys' day.
Yeah, you as well, man. Appreciate the message to the SimWorld Prep kids. Touched we touched everything from your journey to what's going on around the country. So
Yo,
let's kind of wrap things up here. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the J Rock Show. And remember, folks, SimWorld Hoops, only place you can see the game and be the game.